Good morning, everybody. I hope everybody's doing pretty well. I know I am. Making sure everything's cool. This is gonna be like a little bit of a new format for me. Making sure that everything is good to go. Alright, good. Welcome everybody from Facebook. Yeah, let me go ahead and post this real quick to my like regular pages on everywhere else. 1 second. Copy link. And yeah, today we're gonna be talking about collecting. Is that too loud? I need somebody to come in here and like let me know how these audio levels are, because I don't know what I'm doing, but it's cool, because that's what we're here to learn. We're here to learn to collect, to stream, to podcast. Also, today is going to be my inaugural podcast. It's going to be episode number 1. So I'll let you guys know when that starts to record and stuff. If anybody wants to get in on this in terms of like being able to chat and stuff, let me know as well, because I can get you into my Discord. Let me find out where that is. Discord. Let me pop that up. And yeah. Hey guys, hi dudes, and I'm also gonna be talking about my my comic book collection here. Yeah, those are live. Those are not fake or anything like that. They are real, and yeah. Go ahead and post this here too, cause like. Oh my. 11:30. Paste. Cut. Post. Publish. And give me 1 second. I gotta respond now to my fiance. Give me 1 second, guys. Because we're gonna go to P&G later today, so that I can we can eat some breakfast, because I still haven't eaten breakfast yet. I have had some nuts though. Let's see here. Yeah. 11:30 sounds good. 11:30 sounds good. Sounds good to me. Alright. P&G's is like this old style, like, oh yeah. There's this old style diner place, and it's really cool because they have like these really good burgers and stuff, but we order a steak salad from there, and it's like pretty awesome. So yeah. It's pretty delicious. Oh, the way I have it though, so it's a bed of lettuce, tomatoes, cucumbers and stuff like that, and then you have I could get more rare, but I just kind of I don't know. I get it medium. I get a medium steak. I know some of you are gonna be like, the only way to eat a steak is like bleeding and like freshly cut from a cow, like that sort of rare. I understand, but I'm eating it medium anyway, or medium rare. Maybe I should order it medium rare. Anyway, the steak is delicious. All right, you get like, maybe it's like the size of my head. Okay, it's like it's a pretty good chunk of steak. It's like pretty thick, about like, it's pretty much an inch. It's pretty much an inch thick steak. and it's well marbled. But we're not talking like a steakhouse here. This is just like a diner, right? So you get this decent steak across your bed of lettuce. It's cut into strips because it's a steak salad. You're supposed to eat it like amongst the rest of the salad. And I also get pastrami on it. I think that's pretty delicious too. Let me go ahead and make sure that all of these things are connected here, making sure that I'm not missing anything. And yeah, all right. So yeah, oh yeah, so I get pastrami, an order of pastrami next to the steak, and then I get avocado on it, and oh, it's so good. And then they give you, it's like this tiny boat full of ranch dressing. And then what I like to do, because I'm a freak that way, is I'll go ahead and move the steak to either side, and I like make a little bit of room, and then like I dig a little bit, and then I pour the ranch into the steak salad. So it's like going in through the bottom, so that all of my salad has some ranch on it, because I like to have ranch on all my stuff. And this is all keto, by the way. If you don't believe me, I've dropped from 246 pounds to about 218 now. And that's on basically eating like that once a week, and then eating bacon, chicharrones, meat in general, relatively low amounts of vegetables, yeah, that's what I'm doing. So hey guys, welcome. I'm gonna see about starting this podcast, but maybe in a second, maybe once I have like a rough idea of like what exactly I want to do. Anyway, so let's go through. Like, this isn't my entire collection. This is only part of the stuff that I'm like kind of getting into right now. But also, let me go ahead and grab a couple more items that I want to be able to show off. So give me 1 second and I will be right back. Is the music too loud? Is that what's going on? Let me know, whoever's watching, if the music is too loud, or if I should turn it up a little bit. No? Nobody's sticking around long enough to let me know. It's okay, guys. This is a thing. It's called streaming. I can actually see whether or not like you're here. You can say hi. It's perfectly okay. I'm a perfectly nice guy. Like, this shirt, me wearing this does not denote me being in any way, shape, or form like one of those toxic fanboys. I'm a nice person. The other day, I also have a Bob Ross shirt that basically says, take all those little mistakes and turn them into birds. Yeah, turn them into birds. Happy mistakes. So, like, I'm here for you guys. Don't worry about it. Y'all can say hi. It's perfectly okay. Hi out there. Hello, internet. So yeah. All right, let me go get those items real quick. I will be right back. 1 second. I'm here. I'm back. Just went to go get the rest of my box that has my other stuff in it. Hi, Jessica. Oh, now that you're here, yay. Can you tell me if the music is too loud or not? Is it like just kind of like dim and kind of like, is it like good background level, like intensity? Like is it volume just high enough for that? Just perfect? You can hear me perfectly well over it. I don't have to like speak louder. All right, cool. Not in your face, yay. So in this one, I'm gonna try and like show my collection stuff. So hopefully people like it. I hope. Noises. I'm eating nuts. Hello. Yum. Déjame saber si me puedes oír acá y si estoy muy calladito. Alright, let me know if I'm a little too quiet over there while I get over there to like mess with my comics and stuff. So give me. Wait. Un segundito. Alright. So can you hear me okay right here? ¿Me puedes oír bien? Because this is like where I'm gonna be. Because if I gotta drag my thingy over there a little bit, then that's fine. Yeah, I sound alright? Cool. No muy calladito? Yay. Alright. Que bonito. Alright. Okay. So I think I might be doing a couple things here. I think I might do that. I might do that. Okay. I think that's what I'm going to be doing there. I might turn this screen. I think. Maybe not. I'm going to have to figure out how I want this set up later, or when I want to have. That's gonna be later. I'm gonna have to deal with that later. For now, I'm gonna watch myself through Facebook. Yeah. Without any volume. Alright. There he goes. Alright, so that way I can see if somebody is like chatting with me or something like that. Anyway, alright, cool. Now to explain. Ah. Okay. Alright. Okay. Alright, so there's that. Cool. Alrighty. Okay. Alright, so this is here. Goes over there. And that one over there. Okay, alright, so that one's not the normal one. There's a normal one. Alright, cool. Alright. So, well, I guess I can start the podcast. I'm going to start the podcast, guys. Let me do that. I'm going to start the podcast. Wahoo! Alright, I'm going to be using Anchor, okay? And it's going to be super cool. So, let me go ahead and start this song over real quick. I'm going to I'm gonna raise the volume a little bit of the música. So this is specifically for the podcast, all right? So it's gonna sound a little weird, it might be a little disjointed for you guys, but for the podcast, it should sound just right. Okay, so here we go. Welcome everybody to the inaugural episode of Designated Inquirer's Pikachu's Treasure Hunt. I don't know what exactly to call this yet, but it's a podcast about learning how to collect different things. I hope I'm making any sort of sense. This is going to be my first podcast. It's going to be really weird and really odd, and I'm the only one on it right now at the moment, but that's okay because we're all learning here, so it's chill. It's chill, right, guys? It's totally okay. Anyway, to start off the day, I'm going to be explaining effectively base level of what I know on how to collect stuff, whether it's comic books, whether it's pops, whether it's Pokemon cards, whether it's pins, stickers, anything, shoes, all sorts of stuff. There's also going to be a chat that's kind of like going in the background, so like they might be involved a little bit during this whole process. So if I'm talking to somebody that you can't hear, it's because they're typing in the chat. All right, so I might have other people on later, etc., at some point on other episodes, but today is, for the most part, it's just going to be me, myself, and I. So yeah, here we go. All right, we're gonna get started off with I'm gonna move my mic a little bit over here. I hope this sounds nice to everybody. I hope your ears aren't screaming and yelling, "Oh my God, what's wrong with his voice? He sounds like a monster." I hope everything is chill. I hope. Yeah. Anyway, I'm gonna move over there now, and I'm gonna start explaining stuff. Here I go. Okay. All right. So for comic books, we're gonna start off with comic books first, and certain comic books, we're gonna take Iron Man for example, because Iron Man just recently went through a transition, if you will. They basically went from finishing off one of their I should probably have this in the opposite way, I think. That should probably be the case. There we go. Let's do that. Because I never know exactly what direction I'll hold my comic books in. Anyway, so Invincible, or Iron Man the comic book, recently went into a transition, effectively ending what we know as the Invincible Iron Man, transitioning to Tony Stark Iron Man. So, and there's a couple reasons for this, because we have effectively new actors in the game. So we have Rhodes, we have Ironheart, we have Pepper, we've got Mary Jane, and like maybe the Osborns, and a few other people that are basically a part of this whole spiel. And I don't know if it was getting a little too complicated, etc., or whatnot, but they decided to tie off the entire series of Invincible Iron Man at number 600. Now I could be mistaken, and they could be still going, and that would be my bad. But from what I've seen, I haven't even read this one. Okay, I'm so far right now just into collecting. I haven't had the time to actually sit down and read through all of these comics, so I don't know what's going on exactly in them. I was for a short minute, like, reading them while I was going to school and riding the train, because comic books are pretty awesome, and I had the subscription service for Marvel. Anyway, so you're transitioning from Invincible Iron Man to Tony Stark Iron Man, from number 600 to a number 1. I don't know a whole lot about comic books, but generally, from what I'm starting to see, is that really important moments in the comic books they're kind of writing them so that they can be in, like, seminal markers in terms of, like, numbers. So 600 is an important one because not every comic book we know basically goes to that number, because it's tough. It's tough to do. It's tough to keep, like, a story good enough to where people are like, yeah, I want some of that. Tell me about that. And for 600 episodes, right? Like, you watch a cartoon show or anime or something like that, it could die off in the first season or in the first, like, 5 episodes of, like, a series of something, right? But not everything makes it to 600. So at every, like, major milestone, they tend to have important moments, right? So 600 was the case for this one. I'm thinking they decided to tie it off, and now there's another number 1 for Tony Stark Iron Man number 1. Now, this particular Iron Man, okay, so now apart from that, we have, I'm gonna go into categorizing, like, what is a regular issue of a comic book, and then all the subsequent, what they call variants. Now, variants are basically, it's the same comic book inside of the comic book itself, between, because I will also have video of this, and you guys could see me on either Facebook, Mixer, Twitch, YouTube. It'll be on all the things. And I also have an Instagram, but that's beside the point, and a Twitter, but that's beside the point. Anyway, so any single issue of a comic book will have the regular version, and then it'll have variants of the same comic book. So inside is completely the same artwork on the inside and each page, but the exterior, the cover of the page, will have a different artwork from generally a different artist, but sometimes the same artist will go ahead and be tasked with making multiple versions of the same artwork. They can have different images altogether, or of the same comic book, like, number, right? So for the same issue, quote unquote, you will have different covers for the same issue. Yeah. So in this case in particular, for Tony Stark Iron Man number 1, they decided to have basically the most iconic different Iron Man suits modeled on the cover. So if the initial one had basically a kaleidoscope or a cornucopia of the different suits, this new one is only showcasing one at a time. And it doesn't seem, it'll just say variant cover. It won't exactly say what it is, so it's up to the community to effectively say what each one will be called. But in this case, it kind of tells us which armor is being showcased. where me in particular, I went and got a few. I didn't get too many, but I got a few. And let me make sure that I have them. Okay, good. All right, good. All right, so the differences between these is for the new one that came out, for the number ones, you have the Model Prime Armor, effectively number 51, Model 51. We have the Hulkbuster Armor, because that's my favorite, number 14. And those are the two different variants of armors that I wanted to get. They were effectively like 15, but I had recently gone through a binge of getting some Superman's 1000s of like all of them, and that came out to a pretty penny, and I didn't have the funds to go and get all of these, but maybe I will later on. Anyway, so the two suit variants that I have is Model Prime Armor and Hulkbuster Armor, and thanks to Four Color Fantasies in Rancho Cucamonga, they got me a different variant. So off of the initial cover, you can also have different variations of the cover itself, whether part of it's in black and white, whether the whole thing is in black and white, whether or not there is like a blank cover. Like, there are different ones that people can get so that an artist that they know can do an iteration of a cover if they want to. But this is, yeah. So this particular cover art is a different form of the rarity. So while there's the regular cover, which they print out a lot, and while it's still collectible because it's still a number one, it's not as collectible because there are so many of them, right? So this is like your base, this is like your very base like rarity, right? And so it's not gonna, hold on. Let me see if I'm, hold on guys, sorry to interrupt the speeches. Where's the source chat? I don't see it. Okay, it's there. It's just not active at the moment. All right, that's cool. All right. Anyway. All right. Cool. All right. We're coming back now. Okay. So while the regular cover that's not a variant is basically your base rarity, okay? It's going to be your ground zero. From there, every variant is going to effectively have a different form of rarity. One step up is anything that basically says a variant cover. It should say on the cover itself whether or not it's a variant. Sometimes it doesn't, specifically because of how they decide to do the artwork. Sometimes there's like zero text and it's basically just the artwork on the cover itself. Sometimes that's a variant in and of itself. It may seem like it's an accident, but it's completely on purpose. They call it like a virgin cover, effectively is what they call it. Anyway, so these with the different Iron Man suits, these are one step above what the regular one is. Then above that, a store, when they're buying multiples of this one, for every cover that they get, depending on how many they get an option to get more variants that are more rare. And in this case, I'm gonna be talking through my butt here. I can't tell you exactly which one this one is, which is the partial black and white variant cover for Tony Stark Iron Man #1. But generally, I think it goes for every 25 of the regular covers, you can get one of this variant. If you get 50 of these covers of the regular cover, you can get one of a different variant, and so on and so forth. One in 75, one in I think 100, and it can basically go up from there. Like, there are some that effectively, because you have to get so many of these and you have to sell so many of these inherently become a lot more expensive. This one is otherwise, how much is this? I think this one's like $20, where this one is $4.99. Like, the retail price for the regular cover is $4.99, and this particular variant, while it says $4.99, they don't sell it for $4.99. They sell it for $20, $19.99. There's other ones that basically go up some price where it's like $40, $50, $100 for just one variant, right? Because they have to buy so many of these in order to get one of these. So if they get 50, they can buy like 2 of the 1 in 25s and 1 of the 1 in 50s, right? And so because they may not sell all of these number ones a regular one, they have to charge more for this. The store does. And so that's kind of like the inherent risk of getting like a very exclusive cover of one of these, as to why these have to be so much more expensive. Now, some people tend to like buy in bulk, and let me go ahead and take this guy out real quick and reinsert him. Sorry, I don't know if this is sacrilegious or whatnot, but anyway. All right, cool. All right, it's safe again. All right. Anyway, so what was I saying? I'm losing my train of thought. Yeah, so that's why some of these variants can look really expensive at the store. Okay, that's where I was going. Some will buy so much in bulk and generally can like pinpoint like their sales, etc., down to like a science, and like they'll basically be able to sell. They know how many they can sell of this because they have roughly a demand, and so these can be sold a little bit cheaper. That's why I've seen like some of these covers go for a little less online on eBay. But I also like to like help the local business, the comic book shop itself. And 4-Color Fantasies are an awesome place. If you're in Southern California, in the Inland Empire, it's on basically Archibald and like close to, I think it's Baseline and or Foothill. I forget exactly which one. But if you look up 4-Color Fantasies and you're in Southern California, you'll find it. They do an awesome job. The owners there are pretty cool, and yeah, they did a raffle for this particular cover, and I won. Yay, I did it. Anyway, so yeah, these are the covers for Tony Stark Iron Man #1. Those are the ones I went to go get this week. All right, a couple weeks before, yeah, like I said, Iron Man 600 had come out. Invincible Iron Man 600 had come out. So I knew that one was going to be special, and Iron Man's like my favorite character. So that's why I have these. So I have the regular of the covers. I have the blank cover. I have I think the 1 in 25, which is the, I don't know what you would call this variant, but yeah, it's the one with, I guess, his main armor, and then it's got like a bunch of old comic covers in the back. Effectively, I think spelling out the number. Oh, okay. Yeah, it's got basically like the history of Iron Man in the back in terms of like covers and stuff. And that's pretty cool. So yeah, those are the covers that I have for Iron Man 600. I have 3. also this week, just going through like what I got. I also got Black Panther. Now, Black Panther is going through something really, really interesting, I feel. Man, I suck at this. Okay, anyway. Because I don't know, like, I'm really new at, like at storing these things. So, like, when I put them in a bag from the store itself, I'm not very good at how to put them in, etc. But I'm kind of starting to get the hang of it a little bit as I'm doing this podcast. Anyway, so this is Black Panther #1. Okay, it's I don't know if it's a reboot. I don't think it is. I'm not exactly sure where it falls in the timeline of things because Marvel is going through so much. Anyway, I really do have to like sit down and read what the hell is going on. That's for another time. So there's, for Black Panther, from what I can gather, there is an intergalactic empire of Wakanda. All right, we're not only talking about Afrofuturism in the sense that there happens to be one super shining city on a hill. We're talking about an intergalactic empire of Wakanda. That is pretty cool. Okay, now from when the store owner, one of the partners that owns Four Color Fantasies, was describing Black Panther to me, the hair on his arm literally stood on end when he was describing it to me, and I was like, holy crap, if the owner of a comic book store that read comic books on the regular and of all sorts can get that excited where the hairs on he showed me the hairs, they were standing on end, and he had goosebumps talking about this Black Panther. Okay, that's how exciting this is. All right, guys. So him talking about this was super like enthusiastic about it. I'm like, Jesus Christ, how's this guy doing this to me? He calls comic books effectively paper crack, right? and like it's a powerful addictive substance, right? In that comic books can get to that level of addiction if you are not careful and if you do not pace yourself, right? So that's also one super important tip if you're learning or just barely getting into collecting anything. Be really careful about how much you're spending because it can get out of hand really fast. Okay, so just be careful while you're doing this collecting stuff. Okay, guys. Anyway, so Black Panther #1, and we're dealing with effectively the intergalactic empire of Wakanda. So that's pretty freaking cool. That's the first I've heard of that, and it's like, seems pretty impressive to me. Anyway, so we have this regular cover, okay, which depicts basically Black Panther, the lettering in basically space. It looks like space font in the background, and then you have what looks like the intergalactic empire of Wakanda in the back, with the Black Panther himself depicted on the cover, in a front stance. The author, and I think it's author and artist. So the author is Ta-Nehisi Coates, and the artist is Daniel Acuna. Okay, so Ta-Nehisi Coates has a reputation right now for being a pretty baller author, writer. I think I can call him an activist. And overall, like, I don't want to call him he is an intellectual in the sense that like he doesn't say anything just because. Like, he's talking about stuff that he knows about, and like his arguments seem pretty well thought out from what I gather and from what I've seen, right? So yeah, Ta-Nehisi Coates is writing this comic book along with Captain America. Okay, so we have somebody sympathetic to like people of color and stuff like that in America, and he's writing Black Panther and Captain America, two perspectives which I think don't necessarily have to be opposed to each other, right? Captain America should be on the same team as Black Panther. They should be on the same team, and they regularly are on the Avengers, right? And so that, I feel like that's something that's pretty cool, pretty important, etc. So yeah, there's a regular cover. Set that one aside. Then we have one variant right here, which shows, I'm not sure who this is because I haven't read it, so I don't know who it is. But it's a young, well, it looks, oh, is this the mom? This could be the mom. Oh, this is Black Panther's mom, looks like. She's got white hair, white dreads, and she looks pretty badass and like really cool. There's like birds flying next to her, like nearly passing her up. The sun is like to her rear somewhere, and she's like standing there proud in all her glory, being a badass, right? So that's one of the variant covers. And if you're looking for the covers, etc., this particular issue, you can look for LGY number 173. I'm not sure how much I paid for this one. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know exactly how much I paid for this one. I forget this, you guys. Yeah, but like I said, make sure you're tracking how much you're spending a week, because it can get a little intense, because new stuff is coming out every week for comic books, you guys. Every week there's something coming out, right? New issues generally comes out every single week, right? Then there's this one, which has effectively no text. And it's depicting Black Panther in a what looks like a circular room holding the Wakandan flag, and he's like, oh, he's cuffed. What? Whoa, okay, that's kind of interesting. I didn't notice that before, but he's wearing cuffs. And he's like oh, he's in a cell. What? Oh, wow. Okay, this is kind of interesting. Yeah, so he's basically in a cell on his knees a little bit, holding on to a Wakandan flag. And yeah, it's I guess the artist, or it shows Pepe Larraz, I think might be the artist here, along with Mart I can't spell his, I don't know, Gargres. I don't know what that last name is. Anyway, yeah, this cover is pretty cool. That's why I got it. The next one got me on an emotional level, okay? Because when I saw this movie, you guys, I kind of teared up a few times. I teared up also when I saw what's the name of it? It's the Hispanic movie from Pixar, Coco. When I saw Coco, I teared up a lot, right? Because they took the time and they did a really good job effectively depicting brown culture, brown faces, and just being brown with respect and with all the care in the world, right? And it felt really good to be acknowledged, right, in a correct way through multimedia the way we see it today, and it was just really nice. So when I saw this cover, the reason I was tearing up was because this is what I felt in seeing Coco. And when I saw Black Panther and I saw it in how much respect they were effectively giving the content, what it means to be black and a person of color in this country, I thought it was like, it was really cool, and it kind of made me tear up a little bit because it was like, it was everything I wanted it to be. I did not come out of that movie feeling disappointed whatsoever. So this cover effectively depicted that moment and what I thought in my head. Right, it's not the most super realistic cover, but dang it, it conveys the emotion so perfectly. Them looking at the poster and effectively saying to themselves, "That's me," right? And so there's two covers here, one in color and one in black and white. And when I saw them, I'm like, I have to get them. There's no way I don't get these. So this is Black Panther, you guys, and this is cool, and I really like it, and so that's why I got them. So if you're gonna be collecting stuff and you're a collector, go ahead and get the things that speak to you on an emotional and personal level, because we as nerds, when we nerd out, quote unquote, we're basically, we're enjoying a passion that we have, and that passion shouldn't be taken lightly. You shouldn't have to apologize to anybody for holding these passions because they're yours, and life is too short to let anybody else effectively have any say in what you get to enjoy. So yeah, like, take pride in what you love. Don't back down just because somebody is trying to tell you that it's a waste of time in any way, shape, or form. Those people shouldn't have any say in what you find enjoyable and whatever you happen to be passionate about. Like, take care of your responsibilities and stuff. Make sure you handle that. But apart from that, you shouldn't have to flinch or back down because of what you feel for these, like, characters, for this media, for any of that, right? For any of these things that we enjoy. Don't back down. Like, live it, love it, be about it, right? Like, yeah. So this is what I got effectively this last week. It's not essentially cheap, but there are things that I'm because I'm collecting, there are things that I'm gonna keep for a while. Now, one of the things that I want to get to, a place that I want to get to in terms of like collecting, etc., is I would love if my hobbies paid for themselves, right? That's like the goal, well, for me anyway, and that's how I see things. If my hobby of collecting stuff can effectively pay for itself, that's something I want to happen. So I'm gonna just go through a couple other things that I have, not that I got this week, but just that I have running in the Marvel scene or whatnot. I also have this guy right here. I'm not exactly sure if that one's gonna come up really well. Like that, I think. Maybe the light is getting to it there. Yeah. Anyway, this dude is yeah, he's the Hulkbuster, number 294 in Pop. Okay, this one came out a little while back, and of the set is the Hulkbuster, Iron Man, Thor, Iron Spider, Captain America without his helmet, beardy Captain America, Thanos with his glove, Corvus Glaive, Ebony Maw, Proxima Midnight. They didn't get the other Titan or whatnot in there. That's cool. And Groot, right? This number 294 is the Hulkbuster. I think this one is 10 inches. I think this one's... Is it 10 or 8? I think it could be like 8. 8 inch? I'm not sure. 10? Maybe 10. I don't know. So pops are another animal all of in themselves, right? There are so many, too many to count, right? It can seem super daunting to even get into it, but as any collector, if you're collecting, you have the advantage of effectively, like, not needing to worry about how many there are, because unless your plan is to effectively get every single one, you're in for a lot of pain, right? Because that's going to be hella expensive. But since you're not, you ain't got to worry about that. What you need to worry about is to get the things that you like the most, right? You need to be super focused on what you want because there's so much of it. So because I like Iron Man, I have an Iron Man Hulkbuster pop. And it could be basically that simple. Since I don't know so much about these, that is perfectly fine. But again, because I want my hobbies to be able to pay for themselves, because I really like this one, and I think he's pretty cool, I went in and I got 2 of them. So one is effectively for me to keep, and the other one is going to effectively, at some point in the future, is going to be to sell. So I know a lot of people really don't like resellers, etc. They kind of get a bad rap in any collector type front, whether it's sneakers, whether it's Pokemon cards, whether it's Magic the Gathering. People that collect to resell and or etc. or to try and like day trade, like they kind of get a bad rep. But my perspective is like, I haven't been a collector first, so I don't know that perspective to like try and judge and or blame a group of people for making a particular hobby too expensive or expensive in the first place or tough to execute, right? Because in having more demand than there is supply, you're gonna effectively kind of screw some people over and not being able to get any. But yeah, so I don't have that baggage with myself per se, but yeah. So the next thing I'm gonna so since I don't, and I want the hobby to pay for itself because I want to be able to enjoy it without it severely impacting my my income, yeah, I'm taking the time to try and invest in issues and stuff, so that I can basically get mine for as free as possible, or trying to subsidize my copies, etc. whatnot. One more item that I have right now that I can show is a relatively new line as far as Pokemon figures, right? So there are the gallery figures that you can find at GameStop and stuff, but those are they're a little smaller. And they're also sold at Poke Centers, right? There's one in New York, there's one in Tokyo that's super famous, and effectively GameStop's right now, as of right now, they are quote unquote like outlets slash of these Poke Centers. Now those GameStops, they only hold the smaller figures, right? And I say smaller because they are not this figure. They are not the Gallery DX figures, right? These are substantially bigger. Okay, they're going to be substantially bigger than your regular figure that you have for your like gallery figures for Pokemon, right? From the Pikachu and the Mew, and I don't know if Squirtle is there, but there's like a few other figures where depicting him doing an action. They're not this one. This Charizard is the first large figure that they made, okay? And that I saw at online. So if you go to Pokemon.com and then you can go to, I think, figures or something like that, you can get one of these. I don't know if it's still available for basically 24 and change, right? But on eBay, since there aren't any and you can't get these regularly at a GameStop because these don't exist at a GameStop, you can get this one on eBay for about $50 right now. Okay, so unless you're on, you know where to get this, you're effectively gonna kind of be stuck paying $50 for this Charizard that's effectively executing a blast burn. Okay, so the box itself depicts Charizard executing blast burn. Okay, I'm gonna show all the sides and stuff. It says, put your Pokemon on display, blast burn. Charizard flattens foes with a fiery explosion. The move is so powerful that Charizard needs a moment to rest after using it. This was actually the move that was granted to Pokemon Go players that got the shiny Charmander. So on the community day for Charmander, anybody that evolved a Charizard that day, or evolved a Charmander to a Charizard that day, and or etc., like a Charmeleon to a Charizard, that Charizard got this move, okay? And I think it's a two move, like charged move, where each one is like 100 damage. So in executing both, you get 200. So the DPS on a Blast Burn Charizard is significantly higher than a regular one that could have like Fire Blast or something else. So yeah, this is your Blast Burn Charizard Gallery DX figure. Oh, sorry, DX Deluxe, right? That's, yeah. So this is this guy. Apart. So that's the as far as figures go, that's what I got. All right, looking to the future, I also have at GameStop you can get effectively this Pikachu, right? This Pikachu, he's rather large. His head is taking up the entire screen. All right, that Pikachu, let me just get back into the camera right here. This Pikachu is, how big is he? He's like a foot and a half, and he's wearing effectively this hat, right? This hat is a full hat. Like, you don't have to do, it's like a real hat, but it's kind of partially stitched into, like, onto his head, and his ears are in such a way that, like, are perfect for depicting him wearing a hat, right? It's super cute. I really like it. Oh, the camera itself? Hold on. Oh, that's not on the camera. Oh, hold on. Let me make sure. It is not on the camera. Alright, good. Alright, good. Anyway. So, yeah, this Pikachu is effectively he's effectively, I say that word a lot. He is $50, $49.99 at a GameStop. Of the ones that still exist, I don't know how many there are or if there's still any available. But me, personally, I went and took it another step. So I got two, right? I got two. Not to trade, I'm going to keep both of them. One of them in its original condition, and the second one I got. So I can, one, have this hat, which is a legit hat. Like, it's legit. Like, it's like full stitch. I can wear on my head. It's got everything. It's a full hat, right? Full on hat that you could take anywhere. And the stitching on the front is like pretty legit. I love it, right? Not only for the hat, but so that I could do stuff like this. So this Pikachu right here, this Pikachu I had for my birthday. My grandma, she's a saint, okay? She's a veritable saint, okay? For my birthday, I asked my grandma that could knit and had taught me to knit before to make this little guy a little ash jacket, okay? Because since he's already wearing the hat, he might as well be able to wear the jacket as well. Make sure I put him the right way, because having a backwards Pikachu doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Yeah, there you go. There you go. There's Pikachu in all of his glory. There he is. Cute little guy. Yeah, so that's a Pikachu basically wearing his little jacket. And his ears, as you can see, were made so that he can be effectively wearing the hat. So that's why I got a second one, because I think having little outfits and stuff, it's even got a little button. Mono Pikachu is super cute. I think other people would love that too, and that's why I have it. Anyway, the other thing that I'm kind of collecting right now is there's small pins, right? So if you were looking at my hat, you saw two little pins, 1 and 2. This one right here, and this one right here. This one's a fat Mew. He's a Mew. He just happens to be really fat and chubby, like a Pooh Bear. And this one is a fat Charizard. He's still a Charizard, he just happens to be fat. Now, Pokemon cards in general, sometimes they come out with figures and stuff like that in them, and pins of which to collect. But they're regularly just a regular depiction of a Pokemon, either in mid-move, doing some sort of athletic thing or something like that, and or like he's just regular. Other pin makers, as to not, I don't know how close they can get or whatnot, what the legality of it is, but they take their own take on Pokemon in different ways. Sometimes they'll merge IPs, so it's effectively their own IP. They make variations of the same Pokemon. And this guy just happens to make them fat. So that I thought that was like super cute and adorable, because they're like super chubs, right? They're like super chubs. They're not even like a little fat. They're like, oh man, I just like went to In-N-Out and had 4x4s for breakfast, lunch, and dinner for a whole month type of fat, you know? Like, they don't give a hoot. They're just that chunky, right? So yeah, that's that. Well, thank you guys so very much for basically joining me on my inaugural podcast on all sorts of stuff trading. This has been your designated inquirer. My name's Axel, And yeah, I'll be signing out. Ooh, I see Bandup. Thank you very much for the follow. I'm gonna hope to do this at least once a week. We'll see. But yeah, here's me signing off. So I'm gonna just stop the recording. All right, but the show might go on. We'll see here. But yeah, thank you guys. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And yeah. Ta-da! So there's the. I just finished my first podcast, recording it on Anchor, right? So later on down the road, I'm hoping to get other people in on this podcast through Discord, etc. So if you happen to be like subject matter experts on things that you happen to collect, feel free to send me a DM through Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, Twitch, Mixer, YouTube, all those places. Yeah, if you're interested. So yeah, thank you guys, and yeah, I guess I'm ending the stream here. See you guys later. Take care. Bye.